Hey, another CaLDpreneur week. Tendai is with us again today. I'll do another formal intro. I'll give opportunity later for Tendai to introduce himself again for those that are watching us the first time. But can I just say quickly, Tendai, thank you once again for making out the time to join me on CaLDpreneurs today. I really appreciate you being with me, Tendai. Thank you so much.
No, it is my pleasure, Ephraim. I'm glad to be here.
And I'm happy that we're already getting people joining us. So if you look at this right now live or you join us later, this is CaLDpreneurs. Just a bit of background because sometimes people may not know why the CaLDpreneur. It's a combination of two things. Called in Australia represent culturally and linguistically diverse, more or less immigrants. Entrepreneurship, we know. So when you combine both together, we get CaLDpreneurs. And it's really born out of the mantra, and Tendai is part of this, of the genesis of this mantra, that when you give a man or a woman a fish, you feed him for a day. But when you teach them to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. But in this program, again, I must give credit to Tendai. We're not saying, what about encouraging people, supporting people to own their own pond with variety of fishes? How brilliant that would be. So that's one of the driver of this show. So far, this topic is just question and answer. We've had a first part. This is a part 2. Again, why question and answers? We've had members of our audience over time saying, we've got some questions, rather than maybe Tendai and I just telling them, sharing with people what we have in mind. We said, okay, give us your questions. So they shared their questions with us. We've addressed one part. You can go ahead and look at the previous edition later if you want to. But again, Tendai and myself, we led the conversation around what are the difference between employment, entrepreneurship, and business. Sometimes we confuse them together. And also we ask that question, or we address that question, which is critical. Why should I bother with entrepreneurship? And like I said, it was a very interesting conversation. Once again, Tendai, thank you for contributing your wisdom to that conversation. And any of our viewers that want to watch that, you can go back and have a look later on. But we continue that conversation today. And I am so glad, before I get to meet him, let's meet him through this poster. Tendai is not new to the business world. What we are seeing there, they are not just written for writing's sake. He is really someone that incubates, that supports businesses. I am a beneficiary of that support. So who better could be talking to us on this platform today? He's an economist, a seasoned one, very smart guy. I know that, not because he's on my set today. I know he's very smart. He has quite a few data on his fingertips, which he can share, and he uses to support business in his incubator every now and then. He's a strong advocate for small businesses. That's why it's an incubator. I'm not surprised, And then he's had remarkable success in supporting businesses. And the last one there is not just an addition. Tendai is a wise one. He always releases wisdom. And you will enjoy some of them today, just listening to this guy, So once again, Tendai, welcome. Can you say hi to people that will watch, if not now, later?
Oh, hi everyone. Thank you, Ephraim, for inviting me. Yes, I really enjoy being in this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Tendai. Now, I don't want to take, because we have a lot to cover today, Tendai, and I really want us to get into it. Like I said, we've addressed one, which is the difference between these three concepts. We've also asked the question, why entrepreneurship, especially for immigrants? Why should we bother to pursue entrepreneurship, self-employment, running our own businesses? People that see this, if they want to catch up with that, they can go to our platform and see those first parts. But today, Tendai, we just want to go to this next question, which came from our members of our audience. They really want to know, what type of business should I do? And I want us to take it from the point of general perspective first, whoever, not necessarily immigrants, and then bring it gradually to our target audience, which are people that have left their country of birth, their country of network, where they know people, they've come to a new country. Many of them will be struggling with this kind of question. What type of business should I do? Tendai, can you chip in a little bit there?
Well, thank you, Ephraim. I like this question because most small business owners come with that question, and I can't think of a better question especially for migrants who are just in a new country and they're trying to figure out how to start a business or what kind of business to get into. So usually I've got 6 questions that I ask in order to answer this question. So it's quite interesting that you ask questions to answer a question. And yeah, it's very, very, very interesting. But one of the questions that I ask, because not all the questions will answer, but I think 1 or 2 can be enough for someone to answer this question, what type of business should I get into? So one question that I always ask is, what experience do you have? Or what experience do I have? Now, it's quite interesting because a lot of people understate the experience that they've acquired over the years. If you are getting into a new country, you will notice that some people have worked, for example, in the events planning business. We do have one events planner in our business incubator. So what they did is they've been working in the events planning industry for more than 15 years. And she was working as an employee. But when she decided to start her own business, she looked at the experience that she had acquired over the years. And that was what she could offer in business. So she decided to start her business based on the experience that she had acquired over the years. So I think a lot of people have got the skill set based on the experience that they've got. So one can start their business based on the experience that they've acquired over the years. So that can be a psychologist, for example. We do have one business in our business incubator. They've been a psychologist in one big organization for more than 25 years, and they've decided to start their own business. What they did is they noticed that they had all the skills that are required to do a psychologist business. And now they've started. It's quite interesting. Now they have she has about 5 employees who are working in her business. So experience is always very critical when you're trying to answer that question, what kind of business should I get into? Now, like I said, I have got questions that I ask to answer that question. So the second question that I ask is, what am I passionate about? Now, this question, I'm sure everyone hears about this. Every time people want to start a business, they are always bombarded with that question. What are you passionate about? Because that's what you should use to direct you to the kind of business you should start. And I think that's a very critical question as well. If you're trying to determine which kind of business you should start, you need to ask yourself, what am I passionate about? I've got a friend of mine who is passionate about wine. He knows all the tests and all the notes that are in wine. He will tell you, like, there's peppermint, there's vanilla, some of the things you would never expect to find or to expect to hear from just testing wine. And they went ahead to start a wine testing business. and they're quite successful now. So it's just about identifying the things you're passionate about and seeing how you can start a business in that area of passion. So that's one of the questions that I ask in trying to answer that question. What am I passionate about? Then another third question that I ask, I like it, animals, yes. So some people are passionate about animals. Yes, they are, a lot of people, So you can actually start a business because you're doing things that you actually love. You just see how you can make money out of your passion. And I would say that's what a lot of people call hobbies. There are a lot of people with hobbies and they can actually turn those into successful businesses. So yes, passion is quite critical. Another question, Ephraim, that I ask is, what problem can I solve? What problem can I solve? So at times, it's not even about the experience that you've got or your skill set. At times, it's not about the passion that you've got, but it's about the problem that you think you can solve. Now, I'll give this example, and this is not new to this program because I did mention this, I think, previously about Ward Remit. And I did say that there was a guy in the 1980s, he was a student at school, and he was trying to send money back home. It was in East Africa, actually. And I think his name must be Ahmad or something. And he noticed that it was very difficult to send money back home. Maybe because there were not a lot of people who were sending money back home at that time. And he was in a foreign country, he was a migrant, and not so many people were sending money back home because people were already home. So he identified a problem and noticed that there could be some people like him facing similar problems. And therefore, he decided to solve that problem, and thus Ward Remit was formed. So at times it's about identifying a problem. What problem can I solve? And then you create a business out of it. So that's one question that I ask in trying to answer that question. What kind of business can I do? And another question that I ask again is, what is my lifestyle preference? So I know a lot of people are driven by their lifestyle preferences. Some people love traveling, but when you put work into the mix, you may notice that you won't be able to travel as much as you want to. Now, how about creating a business that you're still making money, but allowing you the opportunity to travel? So your lifestyle preference can drive or can be the guide towards the business that you can get into. Some people are so family oriented. They like to always be with their family. So you can actually design a business which will allow you to be with your family all the times. So your lifestyle is determining the kind of business that you can get into. So that's another thing as well that you can use to guide you towards the kind of business you can get into. So this can then allow you to look at options like starting an online business, for example, giving you more time to be with your family, but at the same time, you're working and generating sales. So your lifestyle can be a map or a guide towards the kind of business you want to get into. Another question as well, because of time, how much capital do I have access to? I think this is one critical one as well. How much capital do I have access to? Now, when you're starting a business, like we said, this is a venture. You're venturing into the unknown. You don't even know what you're getting yourselves into. And at times you don't want to risk all your savings. So you're looking at the capital that you've got or the money that you've got. And maybe you don't want to start by borrowing. So whatever that you can do with the little money or whatever amount of money that you've got without having to borrow is something that can determine the kind of business that you can get into. If you are successful, in that kind of business, you generate more revenue, you then can expand on it, or you can start another business that you can afford at that particular time. So the amount of capital that you've got can be a determinant of the kind of business that you want to start with. And finally, what ideas can I test easily? What ideas can I test easily? Now, this question is just it's about identifying low-hanging fruits. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. You want to see the kind of business that you can get in, something that's not very difficult to navigate. You just see if this will work. Now, that should be the kind of business you can jump into. I'll give you an example. So one example that I can think of is I've never been into the logistics business because I've never managed any trucking kind of businesses. So if I get into the logistics industry, it's going to be very complicated for me, and I cannot test that idea easily because I'm not familiar with that particular industry. I would prefer to start with an industry that I understand and then just try an idea to see if it will work. So I would suggest that one should start by identifying ideas that they can test easily in an industry that they are familiar with. So those are my 6 questions that I use to answer that one big question.
Wow. Tendai. At least people can see now why I call you the wise one. Because that is within a very short time, barely 15 minutes, you've packed 6 loaded, wise things that people can take away and actually apply right now. Time will fail us. I would have loved to go over them again because there were quite some of them there that were quite profound. But before I come back to that and that, I just want to acknowledge it's not every day you get someone like Joe coming on stream to tell us great work team. Joe Twazama is the leader of the African communities in WA and is a big supporter of what we do. Thank you so much, Joe. We appreciate you, and we thank you for taking the time to come around. You've always been a leader anyway. Thank you so much. And of course,
thank you so much, Joe.
My friend Joshua. Joshua is one of my Lime youth, my Limers. He is a smart fellow. I always knew that this guy is going to go places. So for him, at this age, taking the time to come around, however short time he stays, he was here last time as well, Tendai, and I begin to see a great future for this young man. I've seen it anyway, even with his involvement in Lime. Quite a sharp guy. Thank you, Joshua. We appreciate you. Thanks for your time. So Tendai, just going back again, I mean, I don't, like I said, time will fail me to go through all those, but I'll just flag them because what I want you to try and do now, Tendai, is that our focus is primarily, not primarily, we are open to all groups, but we are really our target audience primarily. And we are deliberate about that, we're intentional about that. People from immigrant backgrounds, people that have just left all their comfort zone, everything, come into a new place. Many of them come to try and work, and so, some of them find it hard to even get a job that they were qualified for. And they may be thinking, why don't I try my hand on business? You can see how some of these things will be challenging for them. Where do I start from? Who do I know? Who knows me? And to start having this kind of question answered through this program, I think it will be beneficial for them. So I would like you to bring some of those points you just mentioned into that context. Immigrants, entrepreneurs. what kind of business should they be doing? I know some of them was going to be common, whether immigrants or no immigrants, but are there some key points for that particular cohort? I'll just flag through them again. The first one you mentioned there is, what experience do I have? And you gave an example of a psychologist. It makes sense. Psychologists of 25 years, even if they were psychologists elsewhere before. Human mind is human mind. It just makes sense based on what you said here. Start from that place first. And the second point you made there, because you are answering this question with question, which is quite revealing, you know. It makes people to reflect a bit more. What am I passionate about? And we gave example of wine, and then we said animals. You'll see the way some people do dog business. And they have made a lot out of it because it's their passion. And if I have a dog, I'll rather give it to someone who has a passion for dog to manage for me.
Yep.
Then Tendai went on to say, what problem can I solve? And you gave, I mean, I don't need to ask, this is a case for an immigrant situation, actually. And this business is still going wide. There's still room. I know one person that is into this as well, and he's doing well, you know. And then you went on to talk about what lifestyle preferences. If I like traveling, why don't I develop travel agency or something like that? Because it's a lifestyle you do already. You know the places. You can talk about them more than someone that really like keeping to themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. And then the whole issue of capital. And I like the way you balance this, Tendai. We need to be pragmatic. We can't say because we get big ideas, we don't have to be realistic. So I like the way you brought in the issue of capital. And then finally, you talk about what ideas can you test. I like this a lot because there's no need going to places where you cannot test ideas and struggling with everybody. So Tendai, please bring it home. So, I mean, anybody can learn from the same principles, but for immigrants, with all these points you have mentioned, it may not be all of them, are there one or two comments you want to make for that particular cohort, please, in terms of what type of business should I do?
Yes. So, Ephraim, one of the things that I've realized over the time is there's a lot of misconception that when someone passes through the border from one country into a new country, that life changes. What they know is gone. They are new people. The only thing that has happened is you've just moved from one country to another. I'll give an example of football. I'm not a fan of football because I don't know much, but I enjoy watching people who love football. When they talk about football, regardless of the country that they are from, there is one thing that everyone will have in common. You know, how Chelsea plays, being watched by someone from Nigeria, someone from Spain, someone from the United States of America, someone from France, is still the same. The knowledge that someone has of a particular team, you know, is not dependent upon which country they come from. So it shows that boundaries are not a barrier. And that's the same thing with the experience that one has or one is acquired wherever they come from. So if someone is great in hospitality, regardless of the country that you come from, you still can excel in that particular industry. It doesn't matter. The only thing that has just changed is there is a stamp in your passport to say that you were from this one particular country and you're another country. And that's one thing that we understand. So we tend to think that, or a lot of people tend to think that when they get into a new country, they need to identify new things that they can start and then create a new life. Yet we can explore all that experience that we have and thrive on it. So if someone has got, I'll use the example that I used, someone has got experience in logistics, right? If they come from Spain and they're coming to Australia, or they're coming from Ghana, regardless of the country they're coming from, that experience is the same, just like the same football example that I gave. How Chelsea plays is still the same, regardless of how you analyze it in whatever country that you are in. So let's not understate the experience that we've got. When you understand something, you understand it. So you might as well just thrive in that particular industry. It's easier for you. I understand that at times legislation may change slightly, but it's easier for someone with that kind of experience to understand how things are going, because they're not learning anything new. They're just learning things that have slightly changed. So I feel experience is a very critical question to ask in order to answer that question, what kind of business can I do? Now, a lot of people, a lot of migrants, they've got so much experience, tremendous experience actually, and that should be something that they should use to start whatever kind of business that they want to start, because they will definitely excel in that particular industry, because experience is the same wherever you are. So if someone is a tour guide, for example, in Bangladesh, for example, they come to Australia, how they do that kind of business is the same. It's quite interesting that they could be Australians going to Bangladesh, and this particular guy is the one who is taking them on tours. So what is the difference? It's just the physical distance, the geography has just changed, but the concept is still the same. So I'm very passionate when I talk about experience and saying people should use their experience and exploit in the new country that they are in. So experience is very critical, because unless there is something that is only exclusive to the particular country that one is coming from, then I would say you can use experience anywhere you are. Even if that is the case, that your experience is only exclusive to your particular country, that presents an opportunity, because you're bringing something that people don't understand or that they don't even know, and people would want to experience the same thing. So let's never understate the experience that we've got or the skill set that we've got. It's very important for us to migrate with in whatever in endeavors that we want to do. So experience for me is quite critical. And that's the same with passion. If you love football, Chelsea will play the same way it plays regardless of the country that you are in. So what can stop you to start a business that has got something to do with football, for example? Because the basics are all the same and people understand the same language. So I feel passion again. If you love dogs, there's no way you will love dogs any less if you're in another country than when you get into another country. So again, passion is passion. You still can explore your hobbies any way you want and still make a difference to create a business that is sustainable and that can be as robust as any business in that particular country that you are in.
Wow, Tendai, I know that you could go on because time, because I know you just shared one point now, in that point about, you know, how we need as immigrants, we shouldn't be looking down on what we bring. You also know this is my passion. It's like you're just talking about my new book, which you have been a big inspirator for that as well. So Tendai, in case anyone wants to know more, I know where Tendai lives. I know his office. Let me know. Because of time, we'll just move on. But I mean, Tendai, you shared some few things there that could actually be a whole day seminar, because I really think people need this. And the good thing is that the government, like in Australia, they are looking to us. I've been in governmental events where the minister was saying, we heard that you guys are very industrious. We heard that you guys are very resilient. We heard that you guys, you have ideas. But it looks like we heard the wrong thing. You now come here, you're depending on us over and over and over again. So I think, Tendai, what you just shared just now, I know that could have gone deeper because of time. But if anybody wants to know more, they can get in touch with us. I'll direct them appropriately. But I want to read that if we can cover the 3 points today. We're not rushing off. I know we got 2 people just staying with us today. I know there may be more at the background. But please, can I just say, if anybody has questions, it may not even be what we are covering. Anything that comes to mind, please put it in comments. We would rather take those questions than address the one that we had in mind. So please, if you're watching, I would always like to know who is watching. I already acknowledge a few people that have been there earlier on. Joe has been there. Joshua has been there. So please, in case you are just coming out right now to join us, give us a shout. We really appreciate it. Wow, I've seen a guest I cannot afford not to flag. Uvana is into, I think, Uvana does a lot in terms of supporting businesses with ergonomics, with occupational therapy. That is one of her area, and recently she's doing quite a lot with NDIS and disability phase. So Uvana, absolutely, maybe down the track, is somebody I would love to invite on this stage. Thank you so much, Uvana. I always appreciate your input. Thank you very much. Yes, Uvana, please feel free to shoot it in. We know you can also contribute as well. Maybe when you shoot it in, Tendai and I may have a little bit of chat. We also like you to contribute as well. So, Uvana, we're waiting for your questions, please. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. So while we wait for Uvana, we'll just keep going on. Tendai, we have quite a lot to cover today. But please, Uvana, don't forget to chip in your question and comment, because I know you have a lot to offer as well. So Tendai, let's go on to that next one, which is we've now established what type of businesses, and I think you've chipped in a lot. Let me we'll come. Uvana's question is very relevant to the issue of what kind of business should I do. So Tendai, allow me to bring that up. Uvana is interested in exploring employment opportunities for CALD populations with disability. Like I mentioned just now, I know she's doing a lot. She offers a lot around those occupational therapy, how to people that need to recover from either injuries, disability. She's doing a lot now. She just want to explore that in terms of what kind of business should people be doing. And she followed up with, are we getting much work within the NDI sector to support? I think this is a good question. Problem within NDIs. Yes, and I think, Tendai, you bring a lot here, because I know in your incubator, you have 1 or 2 persons that are into NDIs as well, into disability business. And yes, that is one area Uvana interested in. So let me leave it to you, Tendai, please.
Yeah, so one thing that I can tell Uvana is she can get in touch with me. We actually have one business advisor who specializes in that particular sector. We did notice that we were getting quite a number of inquiries, and we thought it was important to have a business advisor to address those issues. So she can get in touch with me, and then I can organize a one-to-one advisory session for her, with this particular business advisor.
That's really a big offer. And she followed up. Obviously, she really came prepared for that question, Tendai. She has followed up with this. Are you able to offer any advice on developing micro enterprise? And I think, Tendai, you've just hit the nail on the head. On this program, we provide general comment as much as possible. But Tendai, anybody, I think I know Uvana. I'll shoot Uvana knows Tendai as well. So Uvana can get in touch with Tendai in terms of developing micro enterprise within the NDIS. I know Tendai has a few businesses in his incubator office that are into NDIS. So thank you so much, Uvana. Very good contribution. Thank you so much for being here with us. And then in case you still want to get direct, if you are finding it hard to track Tendai down, just put it on me. I can track him down. He's very accessible. So Tendai, just quickly, again, we'll just see how we can continue to chisel this away. How do I start? You've given me some tips about what should I be looking at to start. But really, sometimes people suffer inertia. Again, mostly that cohort of immigrants. I'm not putting us down, but many times because we're in a new terrain, we have other things we are struggling with just to settle down or settle in. Many do no longer actualize their ideas. So Tendai, I think a few people will be interested, apart from the person that asked this question, a few people will be interested. What can you say to that? How do I start?
Well, again, I've got about 6 points to cover, so I'll just run through them quickly to see if we can cover as much ground as possible. So I think the most important thing is, number one, to do market research. You just need to understand, you need to refine your business idea. So you want to understand what kind of service or product am I going to be selling? I know this is a very simple question, but at times people fail to really define the kind of product or service that they're going to be selling. So it's important to do that market research and refine your idea, at least to understand the kind of service that you are going to be providing or the kind of product you're going to be selling. And the other thing that you also want to do under market research is to see who also is providing that particular service or product. So usually there's someone who is providing that particular service. It's not just you, unless you are just the mother inventor of that particular product or industry, which will be quite remarkable. But if there is someone who is producing that particular service or product, what you want to know is, what are they doing well so that you can duplicate that? What are they not doing well so that you can do it well? And then this can be done just by simple Google search. You get that information. You can ask your friends, you can ask your family, just to ask those questions that you think are quite pertinent to address the need that is there, which your service or your product would be trying to solve. And I think you can also run a survey if you want to, and maybe just provide something, maybe $100 gift voucher for maybe you run a draw and give something out of it so that you can attract quite a number of responses. But I think market research is quite important. Then after you do a market research, I think you need to do a business plan. And I know a lot of people get afraid when they hear about a business plan because they think it's this thick document that you have to create. But these days, you just need to create a one-page business plan. And then now quite a number of templates that are available that businesses can use. So you can just create a one-page business plan, and all you want it to cover is who are you going to be selling your things to or your service to? So that's your customers. You want to understand, like, for example, who are my competitors and how much am I going to be selling my products for? So a one-page business plan will help you to understand your business. And usually if you get a template, it will give you all the necessary things that you need to cover. So that's it's quite simple. It will help you as a guide when you implement your business idea. Then number 3, I think you need to come up with budgeting and forecasting. So you need to come up with a budget, and then you also do forecasting. Now, this may sound very complicated. All you just want to do here is, what kind of expenses am I likely to incur if I start this business? So you just be writing them down. I need a computer, it costs this much. I need to buy this, it costs this much. Basic things. And then now you're looking at other things as well, like how much do I need to borrow if I need to have money? Or how much should I take from my savings? So the budget will help you to answer those questions. You'll also be able to answer questions like the break-even point, which is simply how much should I sell my product for before making any profit, but without making any losses. So that budget and the forecasting will help you to identify those things. And then number 4, I'd say set prices. Now, prices, I think that's where most challenges are. In our incubators, small businesses that we do service on, a lot of people cannot set prices. And I think it's a lot to do with the mindset, one of the things that we talked about, because a lot of people are not so sure of themselves. They've got the experience, they can do it, but they feel if I charge a higher price, I'm probably not worth it. But it's really a mindset issue. It's something that is quite important, and I don't want to dwell on that today, but I just think it's one of those things that you need to work on when you are setting prices, because a lot of people undersell themselves, yet they're supposed to be charging a premium because their service is premium. So setting prices is one of the most important things. Then the next thing is to identify the type of business structure that you want for your business. So you must know this before you even register your business. Do you want to start your business as a sole trader? Do you want to get into a partnership? Do you want to form a company? Do you want to start this business as a trust? Do you want to start this business as a not-for-profit organizations? This is very important because it's got tax implications in how the government or the law will see you when it comes to tax issues. So you need to understand the advantages and the disadvantages of each business structure. So this is quite important, and you can get that information from an accountant or from a lawyer. So the next thing, again, you then go to business registrations. Now we can go on and on because a lot of people, again, they come up with their business name and they think, I'm going for it, but they don't register it, only to find that someone has got that name. And at times, a lot of people will cry foul. But I think it's important, after you've identified your business structure and everything, you go ahead to register your business name. So registration of your business name is quite important. After registering that, you also need to get an ABN, which I think is also very important to do that. And then you apply for licenses and permits that are applicable to that kind of business that you are in, because different industries have got different licenses and permits. So it's not a one size fit all. You just need to identify the licenses and the permits that are applicable in that particular industry you're operating in. So after you register your business, you then need to create a website. And these days, it's a no-brainer. Everyone is looking for services and products online. So having that presence, the website, is quite important. And again, there are certain things that you need to understand. You need to register a domain name for your particular business name. That's why it's important to have a business name, because once you've got a business name, then you can create a domain for your business. So in other words, if your business is Tendai Products, I may want to create a website that will be called tendaiproducts.com.au, for example. So I need to register again the domain name for my business. So I think those are things that are quite important. And I think it's also important because you also want to look professional when you're starting your business, having an email address for your particular business with the name of your website. So you don't want Tendai at Gmail, Tendai Products at Gmail. You also want it to look very professional, because looks are very important. First impressions really count, and I think that's quite important. So you need to create a website, and there's a lot that can be done with that. And lastly, marketing. Marketing is everything, because you can create everything, but if as long as people don't know that your business exists, then it's pointless. Build and they shall come doesn't exist anymore. You need to build something, but you need to let people know that you've built something. So marketing is really, really important to let the world know that you've got a business that is going on. So I think this is how I would answer this question.
Wow, you have not answered the question. You have done an exposition, Tendai. This is. I didn't even. For viewers to know, I did not expect this for Tendai. he has gone over and above my so much. It's not as if Tendai is always aim low anyway, but this is just so good, Tendai, and I hope people will acknowledge and benefit this as they watch it. Those watching right now and those that will watch this later, because there's no time. Each of those things you raised, Tendai, they are worth exploring further. Like you mentioned, mindset. You mentioned something that people may take simple. While you were mentioning that, I wanted to remind you that we have a case, you and I were involved with that, where a business name was formed, very beautiful business name, but the person forgot to register the name.
I did have you in mind, Ephraim, when I gave that example.
The person only to discover that somebody had registered that name, and it could. And these days, Tendai, as you know, names can sell your business. And that's why I'm happy that you ended with marketing. And that's why the final episode in this series, we are dedicating to marketing. Because I think one of the challenges, again, for this cohort that is our target audience, immigrants, one of the challenges we have, one of the things that catches us on the blind side is marketing. So we really want to do more there, but then we're just short of time now, just enough to address the third part. I know this could have been done even much more, but because of time, let's just look at the last point. And I think this can be fast because this is your bread and butter. Who is best to be talking to? Being a business incubator. That means you take businesses that may be too little to stand on their own, and then you incubate them, you build them up. And I am a beneficiary for that. I have seen it firsthand. I've seen others in your incubator that are doing absolutely well, to the extent that your incubator for how many years now, there's no vacancy any longer. You're almost going to get an award for that soon, Tendai, for a long-running incubator without vacancy. But Tendai, briefly, because we don't have time for this, maybe another 2-3 minutes, where can people get help?
Oh, thank you, Ephraim. So I would like to say the first port of call is to go on our Australian government website. This is where you get pretty much everything that any person wanting to start a business can ever need. Even that one that is already an established business, you'll get all that information. And the website is business.gov.au. business.gov.au. Now, you will get everything from guides to starting a business, register for an ABN. It will take you through the process of registering for an ABN as well. Register your business name, your business structures. We did talk about business structures as well. It will explore the options that are there, and then maybe you can choose the one that you think is the most important one for you. Work health and safety, how to develop a business plan. We did talk about one-page business plan. All that information, you will find it on that particular website. Government assistance and grants, all the grants that the government has, you will find that on that particular website. You'll get expertise and advice as well. So if you're looking for advice, like a one-to-one advisory session, you can also get that information. They'll tell you exactly where to get that information for free, and also the workshops and the events that are taking place across Australia to help small businesses. So I would say this is the first port of call. You will get pretty much everything that you would need. I would suggest before you even have a consultant or a business advisor, this is the first place you need to go to. Then the second one, again, is SBDC, Small Business Development Corporation. And just Google that. It will take you to the website. It's called Small Business Development Corporation. Now, this, I know some people don't even know that it exists, but those that do know that there is so much information. So there are templates, there are guides on pretty much everything. You can also access lawyers. You can get advice on particularly anything that any business can ever face. And you get this for free. So you can call them to get a one-to-one advisory session over the phone or face-to-face, or it can be a Zoom one. So this information is for free. And this is mainly the government trying to help small businesses to grow. Now, another one is Business Station. And as you've roughly put, Ephraim, we've got 3 business incubators now at the moment. We've got one in Gosnorth, we've got one in Joondalup, and another one in Wanneroo. So you can apply to get into one of our business advisors, business incubators, and we'll offer you office space at subsidized rates. And we just don't give you office space, we also give you support throughout during the time that you are in the business incubator. So every support that you can think of, from marketing, business planning, pretty much everything that covers the business, we'll be able to provide you with that information. We now have peer group support, so peer group advisory boards. Now, the peer group advisory boards is understanding that if you are a small business owner, chances are you work as a sole trader, you're just by yourself. You don't have like a board like what other big businesses have. Now, what we have done, we've gone that extra step or extra mile to help those kind of businesses, the sole traders, that you also can have a board for your business. So we've called this the peer group advisory boards. So you can be a member of a peer group advisory board, and your board will sit down once every month, and you're pretty much discussing the course of your business. So you've got accountability issues and all other things that you can think of. You've got a board that is helping you to get to where you want to. So this is one of the services that we do have. We offer one-to-one advisory sessions to small business owners. We've got quite a number of workshops. If you go to our website, businessstation.com.au, you'll see all the events that we are running, and you can also book one-to-one advisory sessions. But one thing that I want to mention in the end is the ASBAS program. Now, this is a federal government-sponsored program. It's called Australian Small Business Advisory Services, ASBAS, Australian Small Business Advisory Services Digital Solutions. What the federal government decided to do, it understood that digital solutions for small businesses are very critical, but they're very expensive. So the federal government has decided to provide this at low cost, but high quality services. And Business Station is one that is administering this program, ASBAS. So for you to qualify for this particular program, you need your business to be based in WA, which is Western Australia, NT, Northern Territory, and Queensland. And you must have a maximum of 19 employees. So if you've got 20 employees or less, that means you can access our service, which is the ASBAS program. And one other thing as well, the services that are provided, we've got social media and digital marketing. We did mention that marketing is very important. So how do you use social media for your business? Maybe it's Facebook, it's LinkedIn, it's Instagram, whatever it is that has to do with social media. We've got more than 100 advisors who can give you advice in that particular field. So social media and digital marketing, we've got the advisors that can assist you with that. Websites and selling online. So we did talk about websites. And then if you want to sell online, we've got advisors as well, more than 100 advisors who can assist you with that. So even if you do not have a website, you have no clue whatsoever what you need, all you just need to do is just to register for the ASBAS program, and then you've just opened yourself to more than 100 advisors who can assist you in those particular areas. We do have online security. Everyone is talking about data privacy, and we've got, again, more than 100 advisors who can assist in that particular area. And lastly, small business software. There are quite a number of softwares that small businesses are using, like Xero, for example, Mayob, and quite a lot. So if you want to learn or you want to know how to use this, but you've no idea, again, we've more than 100 advisors who can assist you in this particular thing. What do you need to do? You just need to register for ASBAS. You go on our website. Your first session is free, and then the other sessions are subsidized. You just need to pay $60. Now, how much do you need to pay for these services? If you go to our advisors on a personal level, you probably pay $500, $1,000, but you're just accessing these services for just $60 because it's subsidized. So this is a fantastic service that small business owners can take advantage of to market their business. Remember, we said if you build it expecting people to come, you may be surprised no one will show up. You need to get your marketing in order, and we've got all these services that people can take advantage of to market their business. So in short, that's what I can say will be covered under this kind of support that small businesses can get.
Wow, Tendai, I'm just looking at time there. I don't want it to get to 1 hour today.
Yes, I was looking at the time as well.
It's really, this is massive. But because I don't have time to say my thank you, Tendai, let me just allow Billy say it for me. So Billy is saying, great explanation, Tendai.
Well, thank you
so much. Thank you so much, Tendai. So I just want to say again, for those that joined us today, thank you once again. It's always good to have people join us. So Joe, Joshua, Ivana, and then just finally Billy, thank you so much. Tendai, thank you once again. Time will always not be enough for us, but it's so great to have you here every time, Tendai. Thank you very much. I wish we could stretch this more, but like I told people already, if they want to know more, they can reach out to me. You provided a lot of link and information today. There's no excuse. Thank you, Tendai. We have a last one for this series next month, and it's going to be massive. Make sure you are with us. Again, just to Billy, thank you, Billy, for that. Tendai, because of time, we'll have to round this up. Thank you. You're coming next time anyway, so thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ephraim.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.